Ever since Avengers Infinity War was released, fans have been dying to know how the next installment of the MCU would pan out, that being Ant-Man and the Wasp. The first film was a great heist meets superhero movie, but many people are now scratching their heads as to how it will manage to follow up that big old Thanos snap. But Ant-Man will be playing a very crucial role in his own film that will definitely ripple out to the Avengers 4 film, set to come out next year after Captain Marvel's solo title. It's not just the character who's important to the MCU, but also the world surrounding him, a very scientific world thanks to the brains of Hank Pym, that will be making some major splashes in Avengers 4 if the fan theories are correct. Now execs and creatives at Marvel Studios have already confirmed that some of the important plot points that will go down in the character's sequel film, Ant-Man and the Wasp, will be essential for shaping the MCU's future, and that it opens up a whole world of possibilities for all of their characters. So, needless to say, while Ant-Man and the Wasp will be alleviating some of that trauma that we experienced from Thanos in the Avengers Infinity War, it will also be critical in setting the stakes for much of what will go down over the next several years in that story universe. So today we're diving in deeper into the whys and hows with our list of the top 10 reasons why Ant-Man is important for the next Avengers movie. Number 10. The Quantum Realm. The most obvious and confirmed reason why Ant-Man is important for Avengers 4 is the Quantum Realm, a reality first introduced in the first Ant-Man film that, as Hank Pym said, is a reality where all concepts of time and space become irrelevant. Now we know that the Quantum Realm is accessible by shrinking down to a subatomic size, via Pym particles, or by a sling ring, as seen in Doctor Strange when the Ancient One sends him there. Up until the first film, Pym didn't think you could return from the Quantum Realm, but Scott then gets himself stuck there after facing off against Yellow Jacket in his first movie, and ends up messing with his shrinking regulator, replacing it with an enlarging one in order to return to our realm safely. Now back in 1987, Hank and his wife Janet Van Dyne were on a mission to stop a missile, when she entered a subatomic size in order to disarm it and save the world. In doing so, she got stuck in the Quantum Realm, and Pym has been studying the Quantum Realm for years since. The second film's premise follows Hank and his daughter Hope, who is now the new Wasp, having recruited Scott again to help rescue Janet. And based on the trailer, we get to see a whole lot of the Quantum Realm in the movie. Dr. Spiros Michalakis, the quantum physicist consultant for Marvel Studios, stated in an interview with Inverse the importance of the Quantum Realm in the next few upcoming films. He said, I quote, "This is exciting for the future. There are different ways that some of these ideas appear on screen in a few years, not just for Ant-Man, but also for Captain Marvel and all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe." In our number 9 spot, time travel. Whatever breakthroughs that the Ant-Man and the Wasp film will explore concerning the Quantum Realm will be indicative of how it will connect to the Avengers 4 movie. This has spawned a theory that it will be used to time travel, allowing for the Avengers to go back and alter the timeline, possibly preventing Thanos from collecting all of the Infinity Stones in the first place. Photos from the set of Avengers 4 have been leaked, featuring Ant-Man in his current costume at the Battle of New York with several members of the Avengers, who are all wearing little bracelet-like contraptions that sort of look like tiny regulators. Could the combination of Hank Pym's technology and Tony Stark's capabilities lead to the creation of this device? Is this why Strange sacrificed the Time Stone in order to save Iron Man? Guess we'll just have to wait and see. But if you want more on this time travel theory, be sure to check out our Can Ant-Man Time Travel video on our channel for all the details. In our number 8 spot, the multiverse. The Quantum Realm also opens up the possibilities of not just playing with time, but also space, meaning this could usher in the introduction of the multiverse, depending on what revelations Ant-Man and the Wasp unearth. There have been a few hints to this from people close to the production of the Avengers 4, although it does seem unlikely that we'll see the multiverse and time travel in the same movie. Kinda seems like they would tackle one at a time rather than cram both massive concepts into one movie. Anyway, one comment in particular about the Quantum Realm's potential that people are freaking out about is from Evangeline Lilly, who plays Hope Van Dyne, the second Wasp, and how she compared the events of Avengers 4 to Lost, the show that she was previously on. Now for context, Lost's plot consists of a lot of time travel and alternate timelines that were incredibly important to the series' narrative as a whole. She said, I quote, "When I heard about Infinity War and the direction that they're heading, I did have this moment of realizing, oh wow, there's a bit of deja vu for me with the Lost franchise. We are hitting that Lost Season 4 space where everything's about to shift, and you're about to lose the solid ground underneath you. And Ant-Man and the Wasp, of course, will play a part in that. Those characters are experts in the Quantum Realm. In Ant-Man and the Wasp, they are trying everything in their power to safely enter the Quantum Realm and return back from it, because they have evidence from the first film that Scott Lang was able to do that. If he can do it, why can't we? If we succeed in Ant-Man and the Wasp, then that does open a whole entire new multiverse to enter into and play around in. I'm not the story creator, so I can't tell you what they're going to do with that, but I definitely see the potential there." Up next, number 7, a plot device. For those of you who don't know, a plot device is a mechanism used in a narrative to move the story forward. And while the Quantum Realm is surely much more than an arbitrary means to ensure that we don't lose all of our beloved heroes, it may serve as a means to move the narrative along quicker. As we mentioned, the Quantum Realm is a reality where all the concepts of time and space face are irrelevant. Even if the time travel theory doesn't pan out and the quantum realm is utilized in a different way, it could still be used to maneuver across Earth and other galactic locales at a much faster pace, which may be how Tony Stark and Nebula managed to get off of Titan, rather than Tony scrapping through the planet's ruins to build a ship to get them back to Earth, and who knows how long that would take. All things considered, if the quantum realm does function as a bit of a plot device, this could totally alter the landscape of MCU movies to come, with the potential of bringing us to wackier and more obscure landscapes without having to really spend a whole lot of time justifying how our heroes got from point A to point B. Another little fact that Evangeline Lilly revealed was that when she talked through the story arc for Infinity War with Marvel Studios, she said that the stylistic direction for the next phase became pretty obvious. I quote, "We're moving into this new phase. The color of that new phase can be clearly seen emerging through Ant-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Thor Ragnarok. It's just a more colorful, more playful, heightened reality that we're going to enter." And all that sounds pretty darn promising, doesn't it? In our number 6 spot, Captain Marvel. Dr. Spiros Mikalakis also stated some important information about the upcoming Captain Marvel film. In that same interview, he stated that the quantum realm will play a role in Captain Marvel, and that it will give us a better understanding of Carol Danvers and her place in the MCU. It's also been noted that Ant-Man and the Wasp will be essential for audiences in order to understand what goes down in Captain Marvel. Of course, this has spawned a bunch of theories, and we have one in particular that we really dig. So, Scott and Hope go back in time, make sure that Janet has the ability to enlarge herself via her regulator, allowing her to get out of the quantum realm when she goes subatomic, which then inevitably speeds up her and Hank's research on it. By the time Carol Danvers turns up in the 90s, which is when her film is set, quantum realm is what ends up giving her her powers, which then allows the present day MCU to have a hero who may stand a chance at defeating Thanos, while Ant-Man and the Avengers go back in time to ensure that the heroes who were lost are no longer dusted. Carol distracts Thanos, while they fix the timeline and stop him from succeeding in the first place. Now this means that the Captain Marvel that Nick Fury contacted at the end of Infinity War is Mar-Vell, the original Captain Marvel who will be portrayed by Jude Law, and this also explains how Marvel will be messing around with Carol's origin story, as they've already confirmed that they will be doing. Up next, number 5, Cassie Lang. Scott's daughter Cassie may have been one of the most endearing aspects of the first Ant-Man movie, but as comic fans know, the character in the panels ends up doing much bigger things, or rather smaller, in the Marvel universe aside from being adorable. News of the new casting concerning Cassie made waves a little while back. Emma Fuhrmann will be taking on the role in the Avengers 4 film. She's a 16-year-old actor, meaning Ant-Man and the Wasp will either toss the young girl into the quantum realm with her returning at an older age, or this news signifies something else, that the Avengers 4 will take place a certain number of years after Infinity War took place, a theory that many fans have expressed online even before the news of this came into popular light. Up next, number 4, comic relief. I mean, this is kinda obvious, isn't it? At the end of Avengers Infinity War, Thanos snapped his fingers and wiped out half of the universe's living beings. It was bleak, and it left many fans absolutely stunned when they left theaters. So needless to say, when the Ant-Man and the Wasp trailer came out, fans were quite relieved to see that the film would be retaining its predecessor's lighthearted tone. It also appears that the film took place prior to the events of Infinity War, which was later confirmed, much to everyone's relief. So with all that being said, it seems fairly likely that by the time we get to Avengers 4, and Scott Lang becomes heavily involved with the Thanos damage control mission, which those leaked photos clearly imply, his presence will give the audience some of that classic MCU humor that the first and second Avengers films proudly boasted. Also, I kinda wanna see Scott Lang interact with the Hulk, don't you? That could be comedic gold, you guys. But yeah, in conclusion, pretty self-explanatory point here. Moving on. Up next, number 3, Pym technology. Since the late 80s, after Janet was trapped in the quantum realm, Hank has isolated himself from the rest of the MCU, abandoning S.H.I.E.L.D. In the long run, that was probably for the best, considering S.H.I.E.L.D. had been compromised for long before that. Imagine what they could have done with his technology had he not ran away with it. Now that Hank, along with Scott, Hope, and possibly Janet, are sharing the Pym particle technology with other members of the MCU, presumably, this opens up many possibilities as to what it could do combined with the other brilliant minds we've encountered, like Bruce Banner and Tony Stark. That is, if they survive the next Avengers film. As we mentioned, it could be possible that Stark works with Pym's tech, creating those potential hand regulators that we were discussing earlier, and who knows what else. In our number 2 spot, out with the old and in with the new. It's no secret that with the end of Phase 3, there's a very good chance that we won't be seeing any more MCU films featuring certain familiar faces, specifically the original Avengers group. While we do know that Black Widow will be returning with her own solo feature somewhere down the line, and that Chris Hemsworth is enthusiastic to continue portraying Thor after being revitalized by Thor Ragnarok, we also know that many of our favorite actors' contracts are up. This includes Chris Evans, aka Captain America, and Robert Downey Jr., aka Tony Stark. This has led to a lot of speculation about these two cast members being killed off in Avengers 4, with Cap being the most likely to bite the dust. No, dusting pun intended there. Still sensitive about that. Anywho, many suspect that this will be the end of an era, with the Guardians of the Galaxy director James Gunn noting that Volume 3 will also be the last time that we'll see this group of Guardians all together. So many fans are wondering if Phase 4 will usher in new heroes to replace the old. So where does Scott Lang fit into this? Well, with the possibility of new dimensions opening up, this may be another way for the MCU to still keep some heroes on the back burner, with the possibility of years later bringing them back instead of just killing them off for good, even though that does happen all the time in the comics. And finally, in at number 1, science is key. Speaking of new characters, the introduction of more science-heavy plot lines via Ant-Man and the Wasp paves the way for another group of Marvel superheroes, who Fox no longer has the rights to, the Fantastic Four. Fans are really curious about how Marvel Studios will integrate many of these characters it previously didn't have access to over the years. Now, much of this has been solved by crafty writing, typically giving the role of those characters to ones it could include in the MCU. Now, it may be a little messy introducing the X-Men and all of the mutants into the grander scheme of things, considering the popularity and the success of the Fox X-Men franchise, not including Wolverine Origins. Let's just go along with the idea that Deadpool really did fix that timeline in Deadpool 2. But as far as the Fantastic Four are concerned, Ant-Man, and specifically Pym Tech, could open the door for some sort of scientific connection that ushers in Reed Richards, who is often considered to be one of the most brilliant minds in the Marvel Universe. And this could be pretty crucial if Tony Stark ends up exiting the MCU by the end of the Avengers 4 film, giving Richards a foundation and a new science bros ship between him and Lang for fans to cling on to in Stark's absence. Alright, there we have it, friends. So what are all of your thoughts on this? How many points on our list do you think Ant-Man will actually be essential in establishing? Or do you think some of our reasoning is bogus, and other characters in the MCU will be more fitting of these honors? Let us know all of your thoughts and feels in those comments below. Now if you dug this video, spread the love. Hit that like button, click on subscribe, and be sure to check out the playlist currently flashing on your screen for more MCU and comic book goodness. In the meantime, thanks for watching everybody. I'll catch you all in the next video.